Good morning and welcome to the MSSA Alumni Network with our very first MSSA Alumni Sync. Today we'll have with us Philip Brennan. My name is Kendina Janicki. I go by Dina for short. It's a lot easier for people to remember. And I am a member of the operations team here at MSSA. We are thrilled to announce the MSSA Alumni Network with the celebration of our 10 years of MSSA. The Alumni Network is for our MSSA alumni. It is only open to MSSA alumni and staff, and it is an opportunity for you to connect, to network, to help each other in your journeys, as well as us help you as we go through. These alumni syncs will happen hopefully starting in February once a month, and we look forward to meeting more of our graduates. With that, just a reminder that the MSA Alumni Network is your group, so we hope to find that you will be very interactive as it continues. With that, I'd like to go ahead and hand it over to Philip, if you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good morning. My name is Philip Brennan. I am currently reside in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I have served in the U.S. Army for 29 years as a 25 uniform communications NCO with a variety of assignments throughout my career. I enlisted directly after high school in August of 1989 with a variety of assignments that include my first assignments with the 1st Cavalry Division in Fort Hood, Texas, followed on by a tour in Europe, Germany, with the 130th Engineer Brigade in Hanau, Germany. Then I had one of my best assignments, United States Army Drill Sergeant with the 15th Regimental Signal Brigade in Fort Gordon, Georgia. That was a lot of fun. From there, I went to the Defense Intelligence Agency, which had assignments with U.S. DAO offices in Singapore, or Vietnam, Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, Prague, and Moscow. That was definitely something totally outside of my skill set, but it was definitely enjoyable. Followed on by assignments with the 4th Infantry Division here at Fort Carson, Colorado, where I finished up my career in multiple roles, from headquarters to 4th Brigade Combat Team, 2nd Brigade Combat Team, Company First Sergeant, and then on into retirement.
Very nice. Vast background there. Some of those I'm very familiar with. 1st Cav, 4th ID, all of those good locations and good places. And of course, you got to retire out of the beautiful Colorado Springs. I mean, that has to be just a great experience. How did you learn about MSSA, and kind of what was your journey to getting into the MSSA program?
Yeah, so as I started my transition, after 29 years, I have to tell you that I wasn't ready to retire. I didn't want to retire. I wanted to, continue to serve, but, they had other plans for me. Of course, I go through the transition office, reluctantly, just thinking, what am I going to do? And then this relatively new program that was offered here in Colorado, Fort Carson, Colorado Transition Office, was the Career Skills Program, which included this MSSA program. Because I was in communications, IT was kind of like, the role that I played. But as a senior manager, you don't have a lot of keyboard time. I write reports, I attend meetings, things of that nature. So this program, helped me get back behind the keyboard and learn the skills that's necessary to continue, and, industry standards, certifications, and learn the skills to be able to. And I went to the Systems and Cloud Administration cohort here in Colorado, and was able to earn multiple certifications, industry level certifications, and prepare me for a job opportunity outside and post-military.
Why SCA, the server cloud admin, instead of like the cloud application developer, which I believe would have been one of the options?
Here at the time of my transition, that was the one that was being offered.
Okay.
And back in that time, they were in-house. They weren't as virtual as they became. So it really worked for my transition. And it just, one of those things, right place at the right time. And I was amazed when I got into this opportunity with it. It wasn't full. And like I say, it was relatively new, so a lot of people really didn't know and understand. And I've seen this kind of morph into now it's a challenge to get in. There's, so many people have heard about this and so many individuals, from all branches that are, trying to land an opportunity such as this. And I think it's fantastic. I think it's fantastic that more and more individuals are taking advantage of this opportunity.
So during your time with MSSA, how did you feel like it went for you? I know you said you got certifications, and you grew in that way, but at the end of your journey, what would be like a key takeaway that you felt you had, and how did that transition into a role for you?
Wow. Being able to collaborate with other team members. And I have to tell you, and I don't know if it's changed in this time frame, from when I went through to where it's at now. But the focus on not just the individual skills, but the transition that they helped, me understand and my classmates what we need to do to be able to prepare ourselves for that post-service opportunity. We had multiple guests that would come in and talk to us about this is our organization and this is what we do and this is where we have potential roles at. We had a collaboration with another organization and like a third party organization that helped doing not so much mentorship but communicate with us how to do research of the locations that you are interested in. Having an opportunity in Maryland is definitely a different, cost effective than having an opportunity in Kentucky.
Right,
Or
right.
going to Seattle versus Dallas, these different challenges that you might, experience, the cost of milk at one compared to another. And these are things that, most of us had no idea about. And we were able to do, that research. The interview process, to understand, I mean, because I haven't had an interview and, since I was a kid delivering pizzas.
Right, right.
Knowing what that process looks and being able to prepare yourself, as you launch into anything that's post-military service. And the MSSA program and the individuals that I was involved with, were exceptional. And I owe a lot to them. And this is one of the reasons why I will always be available to the MSSA community.
We appreciate that, Philip. Thank you. And in answer to your question, we do still do all of that with our professional development side. We just brought it all in-house. So we brought it in-house, and now our MSSA staff runs all that, and the curriculum is focused on those being career switchers and what that means and how we can help to make that transition and help you make those translations, as you were talking about what you do in the military and how it kind of goes over. So definitely still part of the program. And I, as one of the pro dev people, it's always near and dear to my heart when I hear that the pro dev was as much of a success as the technical aspect of it. As you left MSSA, where did you land? What was your first role out of the MSSA program?
Yeah, so I as I started doing my research in a variety of different, I don't know what they call them, billboards anymore, but the sites that you do research for opportunities. I found a role that I qualified for, and it didn't really ask for much. But I landed with Khaki as a subcontractor for a program, that is moving to Colorado Springs. And with that role, I jumped into a help desk opportunity. I it was kind of funny again, right place at the right time. Just because that program was moving here and they were awarded the contract, they needed a hire and they needed a hire right now. And I just so happened to be able to, be a part of that. So with Khaki, I applied on a Thursday. I got an interview on a Monday. I got another interview that following, that week on a Thursday. And, by the end of the next week, I had a job offer. I immediately talked to some of my classmates. I'm like, dude, they're looking for more. And then two other members of my cohort and my classmates, we all got hired there with Khaki, and which was a subcontract of an L3 program, L3 Harris program at the time. And I worked a help desk role, working for the United States Air Force program that services and whose customers are the highest members of the DoD. And I couldn't believe it. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This is what I'm doing. This is awesome. But it's a lot of fun, and then a merger happened with L3 and Harris Corporation. And then I got hired on directly to L3 Harris. They offered me a new role, as, I've developed. They found out, look, this, the guy is dedicated. He's got some skills. It's not just his clearance why we hired him. But it was a good role for me to get back behind the keyboard. I haven't done customer service, in 20 plus years, but it was definitely a learning experience for me to get kind of back into. And that type of role helped me, progress in what is now my second career. I kind of joke with the young guys in my office. It's like, look, I just have a job. I don't have a career. I already had a career. These young guys, they have a career that they're trying to develop. I'm paying for college is really what I'm doing for multiple kids.
So are you still with L3 Harris?
Yes.
How is tell us about your day-to-day now currently. Who are your customers? How are you serving them? What kind of technology are you using?
So we use all, as you can imagine, every bit of technology that any type of IT networking program will have. And because it's a DoD program, it's mandated on a lot by the DoD that says these are the types of programs, these are the types of hardware, these are the types of software that you'll use. In my current role, which I'm a member of the Information Assurance Cyber Protection Team, I'm an endpoint security administrator, which unfortunately, I'm the sole administrator for a suite of protection tools that I manage for our organization. The goofy thing about this is there's no one in my organization that can assist me. It's just me. So it's a little bit different. And there's been a lot of, what do you say, self-taught, because there's no real method other than some DoD DISA self-paced learning of the software tools that I use. And because we're DoD contractors, I don't have access to the commercial version of, support. All my support has to go through the DoD channels, which can seem a little bit difficult at times, but you kind of learn the process and you really have to do a lot of research yourself to kind of understand how to be able to support, my mission. My customers, as I mentioned, they're the highest level of the DoD. We don't really provide services, we provide transport. So it's
Okay.
all about the network. So on my team, I've got network engineers, I've got Windows engineers, I've system administrators, I got Linux administrators, I got compliance individuals, I've got software guys in the background. Um, I got the operators, the help desk personnel, which I was, and now I support them to make sure that our customers, um, who require service get the service that they need. If they have problems on their platforms, we can provide them assistance to make sure that the message gets through.
Okay. What's the culture kind of like at your company? Because you say DoD, and I immediately start thinking, oh, it's probably very similar to military, but I wonder if that's actually kind of true. I mean, what kind of is the culture and the kind of the values at your organization, and how do you find that contributes to your growth?
So, like many DoD contracting opportunities that our MSSA grads will find, almost everyone has great and fantastic, and I can tell you that mine does. L3 Harris has a great culture of development. They offer, all the aid and assistance if you are interested in continued education, or even additional certifications if your role kind of deserves it, or your path kind of does, is what you need to get to. Um, we have access to third-party online self-paced training resources, which is offered, and because these companies have partnerships with our company, which used to be one, and then the contract's up, and then they change to another, and but you always have to request for access. But you never get denied. You want to learn more, we want to teach you more. By all means, enroll and use the resources that are available. Uh, Seminars, webinars, as you can imagine, look, all you got to do is just join and listen, for maybe a half hour at a time. And they do these also online, so they're recorded. So a lot of tools are available to be able to help an individual progress in their skill set. We also have opportunities outside of your skill set. And I use an example like I am now tower certified. I never thought I would be tower certified. And someone might ask, well, what does that mean? That means they trained me to climb, an 80-foot tower with all the safety gear and do rescue operations. I have to learn everything from tying knots to different apparatuses. If something happens, that I can safely help, another individual uh, replace and or repair or upgrade equipment for our mission on an 80-foot tower. So,
Wow.
it's totally outside of my skill set, but they asked me, hey, would you mind going and doing this? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm game.
Now, I'm hoping you haven't had to save anyone on that 80-foot
No,
tower at this time, just for their benefit.
no,
But
haven't had to save anybody, but it's definitely different, and when the wind blows, it makes it a little nerve-wracking.
especially in Colorado, the wind there can get quite wicked. So I would be horrified if anyone asked me to climb anything higher than maybe 10 as we're going. You mentioned all the different units underneath where you're at that you're helping to support, the help desk, the it sounds like customer facing type roles as well. What kind of roles in comparison to our pathways, is there roles within L3 Harris for all three of the pathways that MSSA offers?
Oh, absolutely. There is multiple roles which members of the MSSA community could find opportunities. Network administration, Windows administration, Linux administration, um, software engineering, and of course, then they have them at all levels, junior, senior, leads, everybody's looking, and it's the entire industry. Everybody, excuse me, everybody's looking for individuals to fill these roles because there's so many roles that are not filled currently. And we, even in my program, I mean, we have gaps, and then there's other things that are being developed. And now we need to, hire more, but um, every cohort that the MSSA offers, I promise you, there is opportunity within our organization. And, you know, any alumni or current members can absolutely find more information through our career website at careers.l3harris.com/search-jobs.
Okay.
And if anybody reaches out, I can definitely point them in the direction, and they can see for themselves, but, and this is another thing about defense contracting. Um, L3 Harris is not at every location, that somebody wants to be in.
Right.
I had a member that I mentored through ACP. He's in Tampa. I'm like, we don't have anything in Tampa. We got something across the state, but not in Tampa. We have other locations, but, or I don't believe we have much in Kentucky. Someone
Good
asked
old
for
Kentucky.
Memphis. I'm like, sorry, we don't have anything going on in Memphis. But there are other companies that do have, and through MSSA and, with the help of LinkedIn, I've created a good network of people, and I reach out to companies and recruiting teams to try to put individuals in with somebody who says, I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I'm looking for opportunity, and I don't want to move. And, my situation, I'm unable to move at the
Right.
time, and trying to put them in contact with somebody else. And
Okay.
without the MSSA program, I wouldn't have this network.
It's wonderful. And we greatly appreciate that. I'm sure the graduates that you've helped have appreciated it as well. I'm curious if someone was interested in working for L3 Harris, say they went on the website, the careers website, and we'll make sure that we put that link with the video when we upload it. But they found something they were interested. What advice would you give one of our graduates about working at L3 Harris? I have so much trouble saying that. Apologies. And kind of what's the process they go through?
So just like any other organization, they post jobs in a variety of, places, from everything from Indeed cleared jobs, to their own website, LinkedIn as well, and there's a variety of recruiting teams and a variety of recruiters. There's corporate, there's program, there's so many, but stay focused in the process. Uh, you will have to write many resumes, and it's important that you write the resume for the opportunity you're applying for, to make sure that you are targeting. And I hate to use this, you create those, use the buzzwords that have to be used, because so many companies now are using the program that it's fed into a automated machine, and it's spits out and he says he compares to this opportunity 45%, 85%, I mean, but prepare those resumes as best as you can to target those opportunities you're applying for. Do your research about the organization. Understand we got two corporate headquarters, one's in New York, one's in Florida, but the programs are all over the nation, all the way from East Coast to West Coast, North and South. Not so many North, but a lot in the South. Um, do the research about the location you're looking for. Cost of living. You have to make an informed decision what's best for you as an individual, and especially if you have family, what works best. One of my good dear friends, was looking for opportunity, but because he had, um, I don't want to say child issues, but there was issues for the family that
Right.
needed to stay in a certain location, and was, specifically looking for opportunity in, regional areas, but do the research on the location for the opportunities you're looking for. and ask questions throughout the entire process. Make sure you ask as many questions as you can to make an informed decision for what fits for you as an individual and as a family. And then for many that are breaking into the IT field that the MSSA program definitely provides, understand that you will probably have to take those smaller type of roles to earn the experience that you need for your career. And there's nothing wrong with that, but understand that, gained experience will create you a path to what you're on. If you're new to the IT field, or even if you're in the IT field, then you keep gaining experience, and then you become more than just an entry level, junior level, senior level leads. It's going to help you on your path to development. Always do the interview prep. Always prepare your answers. Understand how you're going to answer questions. I remember when they would do the interview prep with me, and they would give me these goofball answers or questions, what tree would I be? What animal would I be? Something like that. And someone's always going to ask you something like that, but you're going to have to be prepared to answer something like that and give a quality answer. Sometimes you just need to get past the HR team so you can have the interview with the hiring manager or the program leads. Once you get into there, it's really about, they want to know at that point in time, are you a good fit for our team? And if you demonstrate and you have the confidence that you can make the direct impact, you have a greater chance of gaining that opportunity to help you with on your path. I will always be available to the MSSA community, and I can assist anybody who's applying for or has applied for an opportunity, to reach out to the vast network that I have to say, hey, Jim, this guy just applied for this opportunity. Who is the individual, representative that's, of the recruiting team, so I can put them in contact and let them know, hey, Julie, Sammy just applied for this. He just wants to have a conversation. And good recruiters recruiters are different. Some are really, really active. Some are really, really passive. Some programs are in desperate need. Some are not. So everyone is a little bit different. But the good ones will always make contact. And when they make contact with you, they just want to know, do you fit the role? Do you meet the requirements? Can we continue a conversation? Can I get you past the HR team and over to the hiring managers and the team leads? And if we can help make that conversation, I'm going to do everything I can to be able to, try to do that.
Well, you've definitely built an amazing network, and part of that building, I think, has to do with one of the LinkedIn groups that you help run. So I was curious if you could give us kind of some background on the MSSA group that you're involved with on LinkedIn.
Yeah. So our unofficial MSSA group it formed as our class. And because we all were new to LinkedIn and we were collaborating with each other, it just created, a collaborative tool for us to communicate, whether if we were at home or whether if we was in class. And then it just kind of morphed. And then because of one of our partners, Christy, she would introduce it to the next class and the classes that followed us. And again, we just provided information, and it started like, just ask your questions. What do you want to know? And I always tell them, just keep asking questions. And it just kept morphing. And, the creator, Alex Ramsey, fantastic individual, and he created it. And then as he was transitioning, he asked me to get involved because I was always on there.
Right.
And he's like, look, I just need some help because I'm moving to Michigan. I'm starting a new opportunity. I just don't have time to answer these questions. I'm like, I got you. So I started helping, and it just kept building and building. And we got recruiters and partners and other individuals that are just looking for information about the program. Veterans, lots of veterans, but because we are not, I think we're over 2,700 members, but there's not 2,700 active participants,
Right.
but, anybody that participates or anybody that contributes, it's welcomed. We got recruiters posting jobs. I post jobs weekly. Jobs not just from L3, it's things that are targeted to the MSSA cohorts, software engineering, administration, cloud administration, anything that I believe that is targeting, our cohorts, I'm going to post. And then I hope to be able to help them just, be interested. And then if they ask, help them, start a conversation with individuals that are involved.
Okay, well, we'll make sure that that link is also put with the video. So in case we have any of our graduates that aren't familiar with it, but I would be very surprised to find that they aren't. It's an amazing group, and there's a lot of valuable information that I've gone on there and seen as I've been working, 5 years now with the MSSA program. So it's definitely been a while. Do you have like a just one story or experience that you have on like kind of a memorable moment or success story from your community involvement, either with the LinkedIn group or through your mentoring that you've done or anything like that?
Um, I've had a lot of success stories in trying to help, veterans find opportunities. On my program alone, I've gotten maybe 5 to 8 individuals, through the LinkedIn opportunity and through the MSSA group. I think I got 1, 2, 3, 4 MSSA grads hired to my program alone. One of the very first, Bobby Lowe, opportunity came available, and I reached out to the MSA, our MSSA group, and said, hey, we got an opportunity. And one of the team leads, I forget his name, Mo, I think his name is, he put it out to his current students, and his current, student Bobby is like, hey, I can do that. I qualify. I'm single. I can relocate. Let me hear more. So I'm like, here we go. Let me put you in contact. Let me get you past the HR. We don't need HR. I got the
Right.
guy right here. So, getting them directly involved with, the hiring manager just made it really easy for Bobby. And I was able to, and he's on our team, and he's been doing well. I think he's been with us now 3, if not 4 years.
Very nice.
Um, but there's multiple ones, I'm telling you. But to get somebody, as they start talking with me or communicating with me, just keep them asking questions and then trying to be able to assist. And everybody says, hey, thanks. I'm like, thanks is only allowed once we get you an offer. And that's the kind of way I feel about it, because I've had some really good people involved in my transition, and I only want to be able to pay it forward.
Very nice. You've definitely been paying it forward through the LinkedIn group, through your volunteering. You also helped us as we were designing the official LinkedIn group. And through our conversations, you mentioned that you had thought for years there should be an MSSA official LinkedIn group. Why? What did you kind of feel was missing?
Well, I just really felt there just needed to be more follow through, and I'm really happy that it happened. And I understand when you talk about, it takes time to, time to develop this, and, everybody else to get behind you. But to be able to continue to service, our MSSA community in a way that keeps collaborating and keeps our community together. It's only going to be able to provide more resources, available to the individuals that are wanting to come into the program, or, seeking, the MSSA community. And then afterwards, because what I understand, you're going to be providing more resources. And I got a daytime job. I can't be there all the time, and then sometimes I'm slow in response. I try not to be, but I try to answer. But you got a team that's kind of dedicated, to this, and I just think that that's fantastic. Um, Resume review, hiring portal. I use the hiring portal still. And
Good.
a long time ago, they gave me access to it, and I love it. I look for people all the time. You still looking? You still looking? And some of them respond back, and Charles Williams was one of them. He's on my team. What came through the program, and he said, I'm looking for opportunity. I happen to be in Colorado. I'm like, man, I got a job for you.
That's wonderful to hear. And I love to hear that. We have had changes to our hiring portal as well as we've been advancing. So make sure that you and Christy talk to make sure you still have access to
Oh
the
yeah,
to newer portal. Wonderful. Well, we greatly appreciate everything that you and others have done. Alex, as you mentioned, who first started the LinkedIn group, it's amazing what a community we have. And it doesn't surprise me because the military itself forms community and
Oh
you
yeah.
have that tie, but now you also have the tie of being career switchers into a new field, into a new industry. Because even if you did tech in the military, it's still a career switch. So I'm sure
Mhm.
you saw through your journey to do it in the corporate civilian side of the house. But we have a community that does take action and they do have that growth mindset and building as a team. And that's where we think that this MSSA Alumni Network could be really successful. And it's because of feedback from individuals like you and inspiration from what we've seen in the group that you run and other groups that are on LinkedIn, that when it came around the time for the 10-year anniversary of MSSA, it was like, what are some of the things that we can do to give back? The support afterward was one that we heard a lot about, but we also heard a lot of great individuals like you that are like, I want to be an alum, but I don't, or excuse me, and a mentor, but I don't work for Microsoft. And currently, that's the way the program works. To be a mentor for MSSA, you have to work for Microsoft. So we started putting on our brain caps. What can we do? How can we answer that? Because that is probably one of the biggest ones that we've got. So that is one thing that is now part of this MSSA Alumni Network. So we kind of divided into sections. We have our group that's still job seeking. Either they're coming right out of the program, or unfortunately, as we've all seen over this last year with layoffs and that kind of thing, we have MSSA grads that are now back in the job search. So we have elements of the alumni program that are designed for those job seekers. This speaker series being one of them. Let's introduce your companies. For those of you that are working and are leaders in your company, come back and tell us about your company and your experience and what you learned to help the job seekers as they go through. We're also still doing resume reviews. That hiring portal that you mentioned is still open to you as a graduate, and you can get reactivated if you need to go back into the job search. Ensuring that you get invited to the job fairs that we have for MSSA, especially now that they're virtual and they're up there, we can get you in and get you access to see the companies. And then working with an MSSA alumni mentor. So any of our graduates that have more than 2 years experience outside of MSSA, so for example, you, Philip, if you're interested, can sign up to be an MSSA alumni mentor. And we have a wonderful member of our team that's going to be matching based on needs and what they're looking for, kind of similar to what American Corporate Partners does. Um, to put you one-on-one. And again, it's ownership on you as the mentor and the mentee to arrange what works for you, when you want to meet, how you want to meet, what your discussion topics are. That we want to give control as much as possible of the alumni group to the alum, because you know what you need. So that means as you're growing in your career, share open opportunities through the LinkedIn or through our email. Advocate for your company to become an MSSA hiring partner. We know that we have over 1,000 hiring partners, but we want to make sure those over 1,000 are really active. And what other companies are we not even aware of that would benefit from MSSA grads? And then those that are leaders in fields, we want you to come back and speak speak to our cohorts, speak to how they can grow, help each other in development. We've got all of these wonderful things happening with AI and machine learning and data that I will be honest, I know very little about. But I will listen and it can be interesting. But let's get more MSSA alum. What are the free resources that are out there? How can you help each other learn and develop? Let's put study groups together. However you guys want to use this alumni network, we're hoping that the graduates will take ownership and kind of build off that. And for us staff that are on there, we're just there to kind of help encourage, help coordinate speaking events and those kinds of things to make sure we're still sticking to the MSSA mission as we're going through. But that's what we're looking for, is to have you guys take some more ownership. How does it sound? What do you think?
Oh, I think it sounds fantastic. And like I said, I don't want to keep saying it's long overdue, but I'm just really glad it's here, and I'm excited, to be here today. I'm excited to be a part of the alumni group. I want to be available to current cohorts, alumni, ask questions. Let's talk. If you're thinking about opportunity in Colorado Springs, just like many other places, we got jobs here. They're not all with L3 because every defense contractor is here. We're the only county in the United States of America that has 5 military bases. I think it's 5. Yeah, it's 5.
You
5
got me
military.
in my head trying to count. I'm like Peterson,
Yep.
um,
Schriever,
Fort Carson.
Jefferson,
Kind of going through. Those are the first two
Air
that
Force
come to
Academy,
mind. Yes,
and
yes, the Air
Cheyenne
Force
Mountain.
Academy. Yes, I lived at the base of Cheyenne Mountain. I think we talked about that before. I used to look up and see the little lights. NORAD used to joke with my kids, if sirens start going and they get too scary, we run up no matter what they tell us. We're getting in Cheyenne Mountain. Kind of silly, but it was what it was. Philip, it's been great talking to you, and I appreciate you joining us. We greatly appreciate everything that you've done for the community and are still doing for the community. If anyone is interested in L3 Harris or others in Philip's network, I hope that you will reach out to Philip. He's a wonderful person for a mentor. I'm kind of hoping we get him to sign up for the mentor program so that he can take one of you on individually.
Yeah.
The plan is to do this MSSA speaker series for the alumni group starting the last Tuesday of every month, and we want to start that in February of 2024. So if you're interested in being a speaker, either for the alumni network, or if you're interested in possibly introducing your company to one of the cohorts or giving back as a graduate for the cohort, we do have the QR code there to introduce your role or your company to an active cohort. So if you click on that, it's going to open up an email for you to email the MSSA Alumni Network. Also, as mentioned multiple times, if you want to sign up for a mentor or you want to be a mentor, the first QR code on the screen will also send you to an email for you to be able to do that. And then we invite you all to visit the new MSSA Alumni Network page to get further information on where we can help you depending on what stage you are in your career. Stay connected with us and remember that this is your alumni network. So be involved, contribute, have some fun, and we look forward to seeing to where it develops. Thank you, Philip.
Thanks for having me.